Well, hello everyone. Today's date is the 18th of October in the year Anno Domini 2021. The local time is approximately 22 minutes past 12. So thanks for tuning in. I don't make a lot of videos, but I do tend to make them. I do seem to have some kind of need to make some kind of a comment. But may I first, before I address the issue, which I would like to address, which is the issue of the murder of the Conservative MP. That's really what this video is all about. Can I just talk about anger before I start? I'm beginning to think that anger is a destructive emotion. Ultimately, what does it achieve? Getting angry. I have been known to get angry in the past, and I can say basically without fail that anger has caused more trouble than it's worth. So and for guidance, I look to for the set of books that we call the Holy Bible, or the Holy Books. One has to get one's guidance from somewhere. Perhaps I should have been looking at Carl Gustav Jung or Sigmund Freud or whoever for guidance on anger. But the Bible talks about anger residing in the bosom of fools. So I've no wish to be a fool, so perhaps anger ought not to reside in my heart. So that's that said. We now have the issue of the dreadful murder of a Conservative MP in a Christian building. If a building can be Christian, but a building dedicated for Christian use. It was if I recall correctly, it's a Methodist church. I don't know too many of the details. I know as much as anybody else. I wasn't there, obviously. All we can talk about is what has been said by the media. And yet again, the issue of a Muslim extremist committing a horrendous act. However, from what I read, one has to be careful not to jump to too many conclusions. From what I read, it would seem that this person was born in the UK, even though he is from Somalia. His family is from Somalia. He is UK. If that is the case, then one could argue that is even more worrying than, well, I don't like to worry, I don't like the word worry, but that is even more concerning than if the man had just got off the boat straight from Somalia. Because if I understand correctly, this young man has been in the UK all of his life. He's been subject to UK teachings and everything, and yet he still pulls a stunt like this. And again, it has been said in certain of the newspapers that this man had been radicalised by Islam. Of course, it's very difficult to sort all of these things out. Nobody knows what the truth is at the moment. All we can go on is what we've been told in the newspapers and the news broadcasts on the mass media. We have no other source of information. Of course, one can go with the conspiracy theorists, or perhaps just anybody. Take it with a pinch of salt. We have no idea if we're being told the truth or not. There's no way of knowing. There's no way of verifying. But then, if one does that, as far as I can figure out, there is no discussion, there is no debate, because nothing and no one can be trusted. So anyway, so that's that. Again, the elephant in the room is radical Islam, which is not being discussed. From the sources of information I have concerning this thing called radical Islam, Islam is hell-bent, if one may use a word like that, is hell-bent on global domination and is not frightened of using violence. That is what we're up against now. Of course, immediately people come in, not all Muslims are like this. That is only one very, very small part of Islam, and so on and so forth. lots of different arguments here, lots of different discussions. But some people would say no. Now, well, on the one hand, there's some people, Islam is indeed a religion of peace. Some people would say that. On the other hand, there are people at the opposite end of the spectrum who say no, Islam is a religion of war and is committed to the perpetration of its ideals by the use of violence. This seems to be a problem that's not being properly addressed or looked at. If one then one examines the source material, but like any religion, any revealed religion, I think might be the correct terminology, but any faith that has a book as its source of information, then I would say that we ought to look at the book. But then, of course, then any faith, whether it's the Jewish faith, the Christian faith, the Muslim faith, the Hindu faith, the Buddhist faith, all of these faiths have a set of writings which informs them of what is the truth. And then, of course, if you look at any of the faiths, you will find that eventually, in any of them, they split into different interpretations of the core source material. Certainly, say in Christianity, you've got, say, three major interpretations. You've got the Roman Catholics, you've got the Orthodox, and you've got the Protestants. You've got one set of course materials, at least three major sources of interpretation. You go into Judaism, you have the same thing. You go into Buddhism, you go into Hinduism, you have the same thing, different different schools of thought, different interpretations, and of course the same goes for Islam. And there does not seem to be sufficient discussion of these terms, of these things at present. And it would seem to me that even just to raise this issue lays oneself to being accused of being a racist straight away. Now, if I started discussing differences of interpretation of mathematics, would I be labelled a racist? If I tried to present different schools of mathematical thinking concerning complex subjects. There are different points of view. In fact, if you go into any discipline, biology, mathematics, nuclear physics, so on and so forth, you will usually find at least two and probably more viewpoints on any matter of moment. Why cannot one discuss the issue of Islam? And that, if the Christian has to have its own branch of what the Christian calls apologetics, there is a branch of Christianity called Christian apologetics. And the Christian faith then defends itself against all comers, against all critics. Islam should be subject, in my view, to the same process. We should be able to freely criticise Islam without fear or favour. And then if the defence of Islam is the brutal murder of its critics, surely that would then show what manner of faith Islam really is. This needs looking at. Now, some people might be frightened to take on board Islam because of the fear of lethal violence if one brings it up. But for whatever reason, I still say that Islam needs to be criticised. If in the Quran, which is the set of writings which they revere as the Word of God itself, if that says in there it says kill the believers wherever you find them, then Islam has a case to answer. And without fear or favour. Where do they stand on such verses? How do they explain it away? What are their schools of interpretation? And so on. This debate needs to come into the public, and then we need, if this, and let's go back to the murderer, because that's what he was, the murder of the Conservative MP. Who was this young man? Why did he do it? We have him alive. We need to find out why he did it. So until then, we're left in a bit of a fog, because we don't know anything about the person, and we do need to know. And then the debate needs to come out, and the Muslim then needs to defend his faith. And we need to ask, why do these things keep happening? What is it about Islam that seems to attract lethal violence? There surely is no place in a civilized society for the use of lethal violence to perpetrate one's views. That's my view. So, I'm just going to leave it there. This is going to go on forever. So, as always, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, add your comments, good, bad or indifferent. Just keep it clean, please. Just no profanity or stuff like that. But anything else, I welcome difference of opinion. So I'll leave it at there. Have a good day. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.